Hello Capricorn and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements, looking at your recent past, your current energy, and your immediate future, answering the question, what do you need to know right now in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self in order to create the life that you deserve and desire. Friendly reminder that these are general readings and they are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate, if there is anything that helps your personal situation, and leave what does not. And the last thing is that any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading or coaching session with me is in the description box below. All right, Capricorn, let's jump on in. Let's see what we've got here. Let's start with looking at overall energy with oracle cards. We're going to pull overall energy with oracle cards first, and then we're going to dive into tarot as we progress in the reading. So let's start looking at your overall energy for your recent past. What has Capricorn been dealing with in their recent past? I feel like this jacket's really loud. Don't let pride get in your way. Okay. Confidence is your key to success. Then you have worked through your fears. I feel like in this past energy, it's an energy of feeling really stuck. Stuck in the kind of like the same old same, and not really liking where it is that you're at. Now, I feel like it almost feels like this energy of not having a whole lot of options, like not really seeing a way forward or not seeing a way out in some way, but the universe letting you know through these cards that like there is a path forward or there is a way out. A lot of times our ego, and I feel like that, when I see this, don't let pride get in your way, I really tend to relate it to ego, kind of pride and ego being a bit interchangeable. Sometimes our ego can cause us to look at things through the lens of our fear and through the lens of our ideas of like what worst case scenario is. And sometimes that might keep us stuck a little bit. But with confidence is your key to success, I definitely feel like this is the universe saying like there is a way out, or there is a way through, or there is a solution, or, the outcome that you desire is possible. But it could look a little bit different than you expected. The path there could be a little bit different than you expected. There's so many different things that could appear that might be why things feel impossible right now, or why they felt impossible. So I don't know what this is in regard to, but let's look at your current energy here, Capricorn. Whoa, okay. A time for healing. What else? Oh. Hold your vision. You're very close to achieving your goal here on the bottom. So right now, things might feel like they're in a little bit of a standstill. And maybe they felt this way for a while, especially if you've been desiring certain outcomes or certain solutions or things of that nature, and it just feels like you've been waiting for them or hoping for them for a really long time, but that they're just not coming. I feel like there is divine timing very much at play when it comes to this path. One thing that I've really learned is that the universe does not bring us what is meant for us or the opportunities for what is meant for us until we are both the person that can attract it, obviously, but also sustain it. And what that really means is, we need to believe that we're worthy of it, that we're deserving of it, that we're capable of it, that we're supported in it, and that the universe has our back when it comes to it. And I feel like this energy that you're in is very much about healing kind of some deeper things that maybe have held you back for a while, and kind of addressing the core issue, I guess, that's at hand. But it's not a time to give up. It's not a time to throw in the towel by any means. In fact, I feel like right now is a time to really double down on whatever vision you have and believe that, because with this, you're very close to achieving your goal. I do feel like this is this energy of like you're closer than you think that you are. It's just, again, if things are working out that are in a way that's a little bit different than what you had expected or like what your ego had in mind, it can throw you off a little bit because it can start to feel like it's not happening, when in reality, things might actually be working out better than you think, but in a way that's different than you thought. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing, because if it works out the way that it's supposed to and you end up in the place that you're supposed to be, it works out in the end, right? So even if it's not working out, or it feels like it's not working out, or it feels like you're not making progress, I feel like you are. What does Capricorn need to know moving forward? Work through your fears again with a new start is coming and prosperity lies ahead. Okay. I feel like you've been on a path of working through your fears. I feel like there's a reason this card is showing up both in your future and it also showed up in this past energy, because I feel like, you know, one of the things we don't realize is every time we work through a fear that something isn't going to happen, or that we're not good enough, or that we're not supported, or that we're not capable, or whatever the case is, we get a little bit closer to it, because everything that we desire is on the other side of our fear that it's not going to happen. Now, when I'm talking about a specific outcome, like I'm not necessarily meaning a relationship working out with a specific person, or, you know, making $1 million overnight. Like those things aren't necessarily what I'm alluding to, more so like finding the love that you deserve and desire, or, you know, finding that financial freedom or that level of success where you feel supported and abundant on your path. Those things, you know, are ultimately what you're looking for and whatever outcomes you might have in mind. Because I feel like whatever outcomes you haven't had in mind, like didn't work out. And it might have gotten you kind of closed off to the bigger picture of how things are actually working out. So, I mean, seeing a new start is coming with prosperity lies ahead is exciting, right? Because that's really this way of saying, like, there is this new beginning that is available to you, and it's abundant, it's prosperous. And remember, abundance isn't just about wealth. It's not about money. It's not about things. It's about freedom and peace and love and joy and having the things, you know, the emotions, the experiences that you ultimately crave or desire. So I feel like there's a lot of good to look forward to, especially if you've been on a path of really, you know, doing the work and holding yourself accountable and showing up in the best ways that you can, trying to have faith. Like, I really feel like things are going to pay off. And I will say they tend to happen when we least expect them, but they always happen when they are supposed to. So again, I do feel like I get this vibe of like divine timing definitely at play here. So it's probably not happening in your timeline, but I do feel like it's happening in the timeline that it needs to happen. Overall theme of this reading for Capricorn. What does Capricorn need to know in order to move forward in alignment with their higher self? Boundaries. Protecting your value, protecting your worth, saying no to things that don't serve you. Ooh, okay, this is adding a whole new dimension to the story, because then you have past life. So it kind of feels like it's closing out a really major cycle, a cycle that you know, whether it's in a relationship or a job or a path that like just was not aligning with you. And almost like understanding that you're moving away from certain things because they don't value you appropriately or treat you the way that you deserve to be treated or align with your highest good, meaning that they're not as good as things can get for you. And I feel like as you're progressing on this path, especially, and I kept saying this, like, especially if things didn't work out the way that you had originally planned, I feel like Spirit is asking you to keep in mind that things might actually be working out better. So I do feel like you have good things in store, even if, again, things are going a little bit different or happening in a different time than you had expected. So, which is really hard. I think that when we have our mindset on a certain outcome and then that outcome doesn't happen, or it doesn't happen in the way or in the time that we thought, it's really easy to slip into our fear and think that it's never going to happen for us. But then we can fall into this trap of starting to believe that things can't get better, that we're never going to have what we deserve and desire because things didn't happen the way that we expected in the past. And then, what we start to expect and then our beliefs around it, like that starts to be what we create. So, when things don't go according to plan, the best thing that we can do, instead of saying, that didn't happen, that means that it's never going to happen for me, is to look at it through the lens of faith and believe in some way that divine protection is at play, that divine timing is at play, that every single thing that you go through is a stepping stone to the right things for you. And when we're willing to look at things from that perspective, we open up a lot of doors for ourselves. Because when it's kind of like when one door closes, another opens. If if one door closes and then you're standing there waiting for that door to open, sitting there, but you're missing all of the other doors or windows that appear around you, you might stay stuck in believing that you're never going to get what you deserve or desire. So I feel like there's a lot of perspective that is needed when it comes to how things are unfolding, like a different perspective. But let's start, Capricorn. Let's dive deeper into this story, looking at what you guys have been dealing with. This is past energy for Capricorn. King of Wands in reverse. There's a lot of self-doubt in this energy. The High Priestess. King of Wands in reverse with the High Priestess. That's so interesting. It's an interesting combination. The Hermit. The Ten of Wands. Okay, I want a little bit more. The Temperance in reverse. The Knight of Wands in reverse. Okay. So a lot of self-doubt in this energy, but yet still trying to follow your gut. And I think that that's really important to note, is that you're not going to feel good and certain all the time. You're not going to feel good about yourself. You're not going to feel good about your life all the time. Like, that is just unrealistic. It is not really possible for us to just feel good about ourselves all the time. But it is possible for us to continue to show up believing that good things can happen to us when we have every reason to not believe that. And with this Ten of Wands and this Hermit, I feel like you've been burdened by a lot for a really long time. And I feel like you're starting to, and anyone in your position would do this, so please don't think that I'm saying you're doing something wrong or something that is bad, but I do feel like you're starting to let the past really depict what's possible for you in your future. And I feel like the universe is asking you to try to understand that what has happened to you, where you've been, what you've been through, it's absolutely no indication of where you can go from here. But addressing, a lot of the things that you've been through that have either held you back or have made you feel like you're not good enough, or the things that you desire aren't possible, like those things are asking to be addressed, because there's a lot of frustration here, and I feel like that frustration is completely understandable, but it might actually be pushing you into self-sabotage. And what I mean by that is, like, how do I put this? Every single success story has several failures along the way. Every single one. Every single person who has reached a certain level of success has also failed more than one time. And the thing isn't about how many times you fail. The whole point it's not about how many times you fail. It's how many times you are willing to pick yourself back up again, to do the healing and to move forward with a higher perspective, new knowledge, deeper wisdom, things of that nature. But when we get really frustrated, which again is a completely natural and normal response, but when we get so frustrated with things not working out or with experience failure or setback or loss that we stop trying, that's where the problem arises. Every single thing that you desire is possible as long as you don't stop believing that it can happen. And it sounds really cheesy, and I know it sounds cheesy, but it's also incredibly important to remember that what you see as possible for you is going to be the energy in which you put into the world. If you believe you can have the life that you desire, you are going to search to the ends of the earth to create it. But if you don't believe it's possible, you're going to settle for one that aligns with what you think is as good as it can get, or you're never going to take that risk, or you're never going to open yourself up to more because you're going to believe that things can't get better. And I feel like, and again, Capricorn, I feel like you probably have every single reason to believe that things can't get better, that you can't create the life that you deserve and desire, that it's not possible for you. You probably have every single reason, which is why it's so challenging to ask you, why it's so challenging, frustrating for Spirit to ask you to hold on to that faith a little bit longer, a little bit more, to try your hardest to look at things from this perspective of all of these things have been keeping me growing and healing and evolving in ways that I need to, so that I can move forward to the life that I deserve and desire. And I feel like that is why you have this confidence is your key to success. It goes back to what I said. If we're confident in the things that we desire, if we're confident that they can happen, we're going to create them. If we're not confident in our ability to create them or in the possibility of them, we're not going to take action toward them. We're not going to create them. So I feel like this is definitely this energy of not letting your past hold you back, and with this boundaries and past life, really looking at and understanding that certain things didn't work out because you're deserving of more, not because you're deserving of less. Let's look at your current energy. You have hold your vision with a time for healing. And I feel like that's why right now you're being asked to, address some of these perspectives that have been brought to the surface through some of the things that you've been through. Perspectives such as I'm not good enough, it's not possible, the universe isn't supporting me. All perspectives that are probably a reflection of what you've been through, but they don't have to be the reflection of where you're going. The Tower with the Magician. Wait, okay. Yeah, literally. The Hangman in reverse. This is the universe's way of trying to get you to understand that things have fallen apart so that better things can fall into place. But the Nine of Swords, the Eight of Swords, I feel like there is this energy of the Emperor. Oh, I love that. The Empress and the Two of Wands. There's this energy of anxiety and stress. I think a lot of times we look at, things have fallen apart, therefore things are never going to be as good as they could have been, or they're never going to be any better than they would have been if that would have worked out, or I'm never going to be happy again, or I'm never going to experience joy or love or safety like that again. And I have really learned, and it's hard in the process of it, but I've really learned that every single time things fall apart, every single time there is a loss, there's a failure, or something doesn't go according to our plan, it is always paving the way for a better outcome. And take it from somebody who struggles with anxiety and who struggles just as much in those moments when things are going awry, when it doesn't feel like things are working out. Like, I'm the first person to panic. I really am. But I've really learned that every single time that things aren't going according to plan, it is giving us an opportunity to build in a way that is better than we thought it could have been. And I think that right now you're really holding on to the past and what didn't work, and, wanting to either go backwards or looking at your past again as like a reflection of what's possible for you. And I feel like that's where you can really get yourself stuck. And a lot of people get themselves stuck there. A lot of people get themselves stuck in looking at their past and saying, that's as good as it could have gotten. If it didn't work out that way, that means it's never going to happen. It's never going to be any better than it could have been. And that is your ego talking. That's your ego saying, the only way forward I saw was this, And now that that's not a possibility, I don't know how things are going to work out because I don't see another way. But your ego is your small self. It's coming from this place of fear and doubt and insecurity. Your faith is asking you, you're being asked to tap into that faith and that belief that things are working out a little bit better than you think. And that's why right now I feel like is a really important part or time in your life, because your past has been one thing, right? It's kind of getting to this place of saying, okay, that is what it was, and it sucked, and it wasn't fair, and I wish things would have been different, but what am I going to do about it now? You know, I don't have control over what has happened to me, but I do have control over who I choose to become, over the life that I choose to live from this point forward. And that's where I feel with this Empress and this Two of Wands, you know, this Empress is, to me, like standing in your power of believing that you are deserving of good things, that you're deserving of things working out for you. But you're kind of fighting with that anxiety and that fear and that self-doubt and those limiting beliefs that are keeping you trapped in believing that things can't be good. And I've been there, and it's hard. But that's why you have Hold Your Vision. It's a time for healing. It's a time for moving through these emotions, feeling everything there is to feel around how things didn't work out, but believing that there is another side. And there is another side. There's always another side, as long as you don't allow yourself to stay stuck in the belief that things can't get better, which is, again, really easy to do. What does Capricorn need to know moving forward? You have prosperity lies ahead with a new start is coming. A new prosperous new beginning, a new prosperous beginning, prosperous new beginning, abundant new beginning, I feel like is heading your way. What does Capricorn need to know moving forward? That Hermit again. The Six of Pentacles. That's all about receiving. But this Hermit, I feel like, is saying it's because you've done the inner work. This is rewards for those who are doing the work. You know, it's really easy. Yeah, there's the Four of Wands, because the inner work created the foundation. Oh my gosh. Okay. You know, I think that I have learned that there's no way around doing the work. And I've learned that both in regard to my own personal experiences and just in the, you know, in general, like just knowing what I know about the universe and how spiritual growth works. There's no way around doing the work. And if you don't do the work, you're going to stay trapped in the same old same. But and I said this, there's a major cycle coming to an end that is opening the door for a much more prosperous cycle. But learning and growing from the cycle that is closing is going to be necessary before the next cycle appears. So that's the period that you're in right now. We're learning and we're growing and we're healing from the things that haven't worked out, from old cycles that are in the process of closing. Here's the Nine of Wands. Here's the Death. I definitely feel like you're coming to the end of a pretty tough cycle, and I feel like it's going to make way for a brand new, very abundant cycle if you allow it to. But it's going to take doing the work, you know, working on yourself, doing the self-reflection, taking accountability for the role that you play in your own suffering, doing the healing, you know, making sure that you are doing the intentional work. And I think that a lot of times we can fall into the trap of believing that once we do the work, things are going to work out immediately, and it doesn't usually happen that way. So, you know, committing to doing the work is important, and understanding that, especially if you've been experiencing for a really long time a life of not experiencing what you deserve or desire, it's going to be hard for you to open up to good things and to believe that good things can happen to you. It is. But, you know, the more that you open up to it and the more that you learn to allow good things to happen, the more you are going to create them. So this is Spirit's way of saying, listen, you deserved a lot more than what happened in your past, that's for sure, but there's something there that needs to be learned, something that needs to be addressed, ways in which you're being pushed to heal, to grow, to learn, to evolve, and it's all going to lead you to better. It might not feel like it right now. You might not know what that's going to look like. You might doubt that. All of that is natural, but just know that there is a new beginning available for you. And if you are willing to believe that things can get better, that you can end up in an abundant place, regardless of what you might feel, think, or see right now, that things will improve. So I like this reading for you guys. I feel like it's very truthful because it's really pushing the message of self-reflection and making sure that you're doing the work. This is not just sitting around and waiting for things to happen. This is not just waiting for things to get better. This is actively working on yourself and working on learning how you can show up better for your life to create better things, which will always be a core message in the readings that I present, because I believe that we don't have a lot of power over the things that happen in our life, but we do have power over ourselves and how we respond to our reality. And the more that we try to go within and look at where our power lies, the more we can step into that power. I'm going to hop on over to the extended. This reading was focused on what you need to know. The extended was focused on what you can do or need to do right now in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self. Any information for that is in the description box below. Thank you so much, Capricorn, as always, for your support of my channel. Do obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things that you deserve and desire on your journey moving forward. Bye, Capricorn.